Olá pessoal, tudo bem com vocês? Eu me chamo Danilo Nobre e sejam todos bem-vindos ao nosso canal Nobre Reino. Se você ainda não conhece o nosso canal, se inscreva, deixe aquele like, ative as notificações e compartilhe os nossos vídeos. Pois bem, o vídeo de hoje, o tema vai ser as 100 provas de que a Terra não é um globo. Beleza? E assim, como o vídeo ele é extenso, eu dividi ele em 5 partes, para não ficar tão cansativo assim para vocês assim de certa forma. Tá certo? Então, sem mais delongas, fica aqui o meu forte abraço e que Deus nos abençoe. Até a próxima.
100 Proofs the Earth is Not a Globe, by William Carpenter. 1. The aeronaut can see for himself that Earth is a plane. The appearance presented to him, even at the highest elevation he has ever attained, is that of a concave surface, this being exactly what is to be expected of a surface that is truly level, since it is the nature of level surfaces to appear to rise to a level with the eye of the observer. This is ocular demonstration and proof that Earth is not a globe. 2. Whenever experiments have been tried on the surface of standing water, this surface has always been found to be level. If the Earth were a globe, the surface of all standing water would be convex. This is an experimental proof that Earth is not a globe. 3. Surveyors' operations in the construction of railroads, tunnels, or canals are conducted without the slightest allowance being made for curvature, although it is taught that this so-called allowance is absolutely necessary. This is a cutting proof that Earth is not a globe. 4. There are rivers that flow for hundreds of miles towards the level of the sea without falling more than a few feet, notably the Nile, which in 1,000 miles falls but a foot. A level expanse of this extent is quite incompatible with the idea of the Earth's convexity. It is, therefore, a reasonable proof that Earth is not a globe. 5. The lights which are exhibited in lighthouses are seen by navigators at distances at which, according to the scale of the supposed curvature given by astronomers, they ought to be many hundreds of feet, in some cases down below the line of sight. For instance, the light at Cape Hatteras is seen at such a distance, 40 miles, that according to the theory, it ought to be 900 feet higher above the level of the sea than it absolutely is, in order to be visible. This is a conclusive proof that there is no curvature on the surface of the sea, the level of the sea, ridiculous though it is to be under the necessity of proving it at all, but it is, nevertheless, a conclusive proof that the Earth is not a globe. 6. If we stand on the sands of the seashore and watch a ship approach us, we shall find that she will apparently rise to the extent of her own height, nothing more. If we stand upon an eminence, the same law operates still, and it is but the law of perspective which causes objects as they approach us to appear to increase in size until we can see them, close to us, the size they are in fact. That there is no other rise than the one spoken of is plain from the fact that no matter how high we ascend above the level of the sea, the horizon rises on and still on as we rise, so that it is always on a level with the eye, though it be 200 miles away, as seen by Mr. J. Glaisher of England from Mr. Coxwell's balloon, so that a ship 5 miles away may be imagined to be coming up the imaginary downward curve of the Earth's surface, but if we merely ascend a hill, such as Federal Hill, Baltimore, we may see 25 miles away, on a level with the eye, that is, 20 miles level distance beyond the ship, that we vainly imagine to be rounding the curve and coming up. This is a plain proof that the Earth is not a globe. 7. If we take a trip down the Chesapeake Bay in the daytime, we may see for ourselves the utter fallacy of the idea that when a vessel appears hull down, as it is called, it is because the hull is behind the water. For vessels have been seen, and may often be seen again, presenting the appearance spoken of, and away, far away, beyond those vessels, and at the same moment, the level shoreline, with its accompanying complement of tall trees towering up in perspective over the heads of the hull-down ships. Since, then, the idea will not stand its ground when the facts rise up against it, and it is a piece of the popular theory, the theory is a contemptible piece of business, and we may easily wring from it a proof that the earth is not a globe. 8. If the earth were a globe, a small model globe would be the very best, because the truest, thing for the navigator to take to sea with him. But such a thing as that is not known. With such a toy as a guide, the mariner would wreck his ship, of a certainty. This is a proof that earth is not a globe. 9. As mariners take to sea with them charts constructed as though the sea were a level surface, however, these charts may err as to the true form of this level surface taken as a whole, it is clear, as they find them answer their purpose tolerably well, and only tolerably well, for many ships are wrecked owing to the error of which we speak, that the surface of the sea is as it is taken to be, whether the captain of the ship supposes the earth be a globe or anything else. Thus, then, we draw from the common system of plain sailing a practical proof that earth is not a globe. 10. That the mariner's compass points north and south at the same time is a fact as indisputable as that 2 and 2 makes 4. But that this would be impossible if the thing were placed on a globe, with north and south at the center of opposite hemispheres, is a fact that does not figure in the schoolbooks, though very easily seen, and it requires no lengthy train of reasoning to bring out of it a pointed proof that the earth is not a globe. 11. As the mariner's compass points north and south at one time, and as the north to which it is attracted is that part of the earth situated where the North Star is in the zenith, it follows that there is no south point or pole, but that, while the center is north, a vast circumference must be south in its whole extent. This is a proof that the earth is not a globe. 12. As we have seen that there is really no south point or pole, but an infinity of points forming together a vast circumference, the boundary of the known world, with its battlements of icebergs, which bid defiance to man's onward course in a southerly direction, so there can be no east or west points, just as there is no yesterday and no tomorrow. In fact, as there is one point that is fixed, the north, it is impossible for any other point to be fixed likewise. East and west are, therefore, merely directions at right angles with the north and south line, and as the south point of the compass shifts round to all parts of the circular boundary, as it may be carried round the central north, so the directions east and west crossing this line, continued, form a circle at any latitude. A westerly circumnavigation, therefore, is a going round with the North Star continually on the right hand, and an easterly circumnavigation is performed only when the reverse condition of things is maintained, the North Star being on the left hand as the journey is made. These facts, taken together, form a beautiful proof that the earth is not a globe. 13. As the mariner's compass points north and south at one and the same time, and a meridian is a north and south line, it follows that meridians can be no other than straight lines. But since all meridians on a globe are semicircles, it is an incontrovertible proof that the earth is not a globe. 14. Parallels of latitude only, of all imaginary lines on the surface of the earth, are circles, which increase progressively from the northern center to the southern circumference. The mariner's course in the direction of any one of these concentric circles is his longitude, the degree of which increase to such an extent beyond the equator, going southwards, that hundreds of vessels have been wrecked because of the false idea created by the untruthfulness of the charts and the globular theory together, causing the sailor to be continually getting out of his reckoning. With a map of the earth in its true form, all difficulty is done away with, and ships may be conducted anywhere with perfect safety. This, then, is a very important practical proof that the Earth is not a globe. 15. The idea that, instead of sailing horizontally round the Earth, ships are taken down one side of a globe, then underneath, and are brought up on the other side to get home again, is, except as a mere dream, impossible and absurd. And since there are neither impossibilities nor absurdities in the simple matter of circumnavigation, it stands without argument, a proof that the Earth is not a globe. 16. If the Earth were a globe, the distance round its surface at, say, 45 degrees south latitude could not possibly be any greater than it is at the same latitude north. But since it is found by navigators to be twice the distance, to say the least of it, or double the distance, it ought to be, according to the globular theory, it is a proof that the Earth is not a globe. 17. Human beings require a level surface on which to live, that, in its general character, shall be level. And since the omniscient Creator must have been perfectly acquainted with the requirements of his creatures, it follows that, being an all-wise Creator, he has met them thoroughly. This is a theological proof that the Earth is not a globe. 18. The best possessions of man are his senses, and when he uses them all, he will not be deceived in his survey of nature. It is only when some one faculty or other is neglected or abused that he is deluded. Every man in full command of his senses knows that a level surface is a flat or horizontal one, but astronomers tell us that the true level is the curved surface of a globe. They know that man requires a level surface on which to live, so they give him one in name which is not one in fact. Since this is the best that astronomers with their theoretical science can do for their fellow creatures, deceive them, it is clear that things are not as they say they are, and in short, it is a proof that Earth is not a globe. 19. Every man in his senses goes the most reasonable way to work to do a thing. Now, astronomers, one after another, following a leader, while they are telling us that Earth is a globe, are cutting off the upper half of this supposititious globe in their books, and in this way forming the level surface on which they describe man as living and moving. Now, if the Earth were really a globe, this would be just the most unreasonable and suicidal mode of endeavoring to show it, so that, unless theoretical astronomers are all out of their senses together, it is clearly a proof that the Earth is not a globe.